So I believe, yeah, you all were carrying Justin back into the Temple of Dumathoin. You have, believe, still have the skull on your person. You have destroyed it twice now, and I think you've got a pretty familiar amount of time. How much would have passed between destroying it and it coming back? Um, and it's going to kind of come to you all to make a decision what you would like to do with the skull, what you would like to do with Justin as you make your way back to the Temple of Dumathoin, and we can pick up with you all re-entering the temple. You see a pretty similar sight before you as you all come from the east. You would see the dwarves are there with Hamsa, Black Spider. The temple is. Forgot about that. The temple seems generally familiar. The dwarf itself, the golden statue, is actually opened up, and there is a gate between, like, inside of it, through the belly, and it stands about like 5 feet tall. And inside of this gate, you can see there seems to be some sort of fleshy mass that's almost like seeping out. The dwarves and the spider seem to have been freshly away from a battle themselves and are more or less like licking their wounds at this point. What would you all like to do?
Uh,
Um,
Before I forget, should I roll for?
I felt like we rolled it in session. But for what it is worth, I don't see a D4 right off the bat, so just toss a D4.
Yes, you want a D. That's
Uh, I feel like Burke was at some point unconscious as well, so that was probably from him. But so yeah, you're going to basically be out for 2 hours of this process until healing is applied.
yeah, as we kind of make our way in, I'll uh I'll tell them that we destroyed a lot of the majority of the undead, but we cannot figure out how to destroy this. And I'll hold up, I guess, the bag of I guess fragments. I'll tell them it's the skull. We don't know how to destroy.
Uh, they all pretty universally look confused. I gave a roll for kind of the two factions. I got a 1 and a 2.
Nice.
So they look confused at the description of the skull, of a green skull. And I don't believe you guys destroyed it again, like in the same fashion. I feel like Sulla or Sartoris more or less, like killed it, and you guys kind of moved on from there. Does anybody recall? Did you go through the process of destroying it again, or was that
Oh
just the
yeah,
first time?
I think we would have. I don't think we again.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I was thinking. So yeah, you're going to see as the spider kind of moves forward, and she takes a moment to kind of conjure a little hand in front of her, reaches into the bag, and this like spectral green hand seems to like cradle the skull. Yeah, the green's kind of just random there. Let's notice that connection though. And she's just kind of like looking towards the skull, and she takes a moment and seems to be studying it. You see, as there's a moment where she has like a spark of conjuration kind of within her eye. There's like an actual light that kind of like flames in her eye. Um, and she takes those few moments, minutes pass, and she kind of comes back into this little moment here. And as she like loses that spark in her eye, and looks over you all, I am not aware how to destroy this thing, but I can sense its arcane power is growing. And you all would be about 20 or 30 minutes away from the last you've destroyed it, and you would know that you probably have less than like 40 minutes. Like, just kind of a general feel. You're at that kind of moment where you're like, yeah, I feel like it took us an hour of doing stuff before this thing lit back up in Justin's bag. Um, and she kind of like mentions to you, like, she senses the arcane power growing within this skull, and that it's reanimating, like, as you speak. Not necessarily meant to say that it's a threat now, but that it is a process that this thing is growing back to.
I'll say to her like, I was trying to decipher it, and I got from that roll of Arcana on, but it was basically like, wasn't natural magic. It was like the source power was like a unknown. That helps. Thinking like maybe like demonic or you know,
Don't remember the actual description, but I feel like you guys were trying to sense whether it was from the actual font, whether it was from the magic of this place.
gotcha. Okay.
So I have a feeling what I was getting at was dancing around the fact that it's necromantic. It's pure necromancy that animates this skull.
Gotcha. Okay.
And right now, Burke is holding Justin. The spider is going to pull a little vial from a pouch on her belt, and she's going to pour a healing potion into Justin's mouth. So you can take 2d4 plus 2 healing.
I couldn't hear that. My sound is getting really.
I think Burke is actually a little low today as well. I'm not sure if you're far from your mic or further. That's a little better.
It's much better for me. Well, I don't know about Edred, but the Ezra can't. Yeah, I'm out of spells for the moment. I need to do a long rest before I can do any kind of healing.
I spent like an hour and a half writing notes about Edrin, or I actually recognized that every single time I was linking to him, I was typing Edrin instead of Ezra, and then I had to go back through like all of the notes to fix that.
I'm sorry for shooting such a similar name.
Better.
It was such a like silly little mistake, and I was just like, I just now am noticing he has like the exact same name. The only difference is the D, and then the N is like dropped to the side as a Z, and I'm like, it's the exact same fucking name.
Justin, healing potion. Thank the spider and ask what back down.
Well, and you're coming to and basically facing down like an actual like tunnel into the side of this temple through the actual dwarf. So not only is there that scene around you of like some sort of fleshy creature like dead in the temple, but there's actually like changes to the rock formation as well as you come to.
Happened here. That toward fighter. Very confused about everything.
I was able to unlock the main purpose for why I have come here. I have known for some time that a great wizard had a special sanctum hidden in this place. And I require something from it. It was guarded, or perhaps lived in, by some creature that we were not prepared for. I expected her to have left the library, and there was something else. But no banner. Seemed to have been injured by a skull, and we will have to deal with that.
But even really something
The, ne-
destroyed.
the necromancy that animates this skull cannot be broken simply by dealing a death blow. It is already dead. Death is not a problem for it.
You tell it else. Cavern.
It is a magical cavern. There is said to be properties of the Forge of Spells that can enchant items into magical items. But as far as I can tell, this is more like a guard dog of a wizard.
Removed it from it would sever.
You can certainly try, but I do not believe you will find that the arcane magic cares where in the physical plane it is. I believe this thing is a property of the skull now, and we will have to destroy it. From a more divine source, as she looks over towards Burke. Make a deception check. Like you're just trying to fake, like, yeah, of course, I know exactly what you want.
I'm not.
I know you think I'm better at my job than I am, but I don't.
Start praying there, buddy.
So, what kind of ideas do you all have?
If we can't figure out a way to destroy it, maybe seem like it can obviously have a fireball in it somewhere that can't escape from. Actually,
Um,
Anyway, Burke can ask his god to destroy it for us. Like just a tiny little favor.
Technically, Burke has a long way to go before he can actually request divine things like that. But there are certainly times where he might gain spells for it. Do you have searing flame? Sacred? Yeah, my bad.
I won't.
So it'll be getting to that point where you all will be expecting it to reanimate soon. So you can prepare to kind of surprise it in battle kind of thing.
I was trying to
Okay.
get ahead.
Alright, so I got a spell left. Like I can do. Fire will do.
But
Yeah.
he's thinking something different, though. He's thinking divine energy. It's just
Right.
sounds like fire.
Yeah, I was if I was thinking if that one shot didn't work. I'm gonna take this outside of the temple. All the away from all the important people. Yeah, let's. Why don't we take this out to the east, like the bottom of the stairwell or something.
Yeah, I'll wild shape into a bear in the meantime.
Okay.
Can you maybe throw it into this room past the shut the door,
You can do that.
block it from us? Can't cast fire.
He has to have line of sight. I don't know. All right, so we're throwing it in the room.
If you're throwing it in that side room, the spider has the key to it.
Oh. I'll ask for the key.
To be honest, I have been keeping. And she looks back towards. Damn, I can't remember the third dwarf. Let me bring up my notes. I've got his name right here. To be honest, I have been keeping Nundro in here for nearly 2 weeks. Oh wait, that's way too short, long of time. For 5 days, it is little more than a cell.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm not gonna throw it. I'm gonna set it. I think like 10 feet in. Blast it. I'll set it 10 feet from that door. And out. I
Your
don't have
your
a
token? Oh.
enough, yeah.
Yeah, I just copied that as a group thing more than that it needed to be present. Describe what it does to me.
Flame like raise.
No, yeah, I just meant describe what it does to the skull. It's automatically going to hit and deal the damage.
Barreling.
You all see a puff of powder?
Huh.
Lock the door.
Yeah, I'll shut the door and lock it. Wait to see and hear if it comes back. Probably not. Is there anything else in the room except for just the bed, right? It's just a very empty room.
The actual stonework in that room would have been quite ornate, but for what it's worth, it was like carved stone murals, like of dwarves delving underground. But in general, that was actually a pretty austere room, potentially simply because the spider's been using it as a cell. Was there something in particular you wanted to look over in the room?
No, I was just concerned if thing was going to get destroyed when this thing, setting shone on fire. But too late.
As far as a fire creature goes, a big stone room is a pretty legitimate place to put one.
Body that
Uh,
I put.
Like the actual flesh is at the edge of the statue, and then within this statue, there is a hall that extends off beyond your vision. And that's more or less just kind of some of the light from this room, kind of broadcasting down through the hall. But you want to do a medicine check to look over the creature. You could do like arcane medicine. It seems to be humanoid in parts. As you go through, this creature seems to have been almost melted like fat over a fire, just losing its consistency. And you find mismatched pieces of bone, and there's different sections of just like random muscle groups attached to bones that they don't really belong to. Whatever this thing was, it was completely destroyed in whatever state that it's on the ground now. I think you will find the description of what it was might be difficult than words allow. It was alive. What it was beyond that is difficult to say. For all of our betterments, yes, we have been able to remove it as a threat. None of you look well enough to forge forward, but perhaps you need time for yourselves. Do you have further plans? I would be most happy to have you all accompany me. I do not believe it is wise for anyone to go alone.
Nice. Looking
Where,
towards
and that is understandable. I will warn you, I am going after a powerful sorcerer. And if this is what I expect this is, this portal, or it is a portal to another place, may not give us access to combat.
Um. Okay. How would we get back then?
Some adventurers are returning home.
Good.
If it is what I expect it is, this is the private sanctum of a mage from many hundred years ago. Was once of some renown. And find some precious information, I believe we will have access to some incredible power and incredible wealth.
That's Justin's gonna.
We've been discussing things, and it sounds like we might be able to work out the dwarves taking over this here place. And if we return Cornbahir to the Vandelver Pack, we don't believe that we will offend anyone, and find a copacetic solution to this whole happening. And besides, we're happy to see her go.
Kind of nudge Ezra standing right next to him. Kind of whisper, care of everything. Flame thing was a
I look back at him with my bare face and go like,
That's right. Never mind. I'll take that as a yes.
I believe the good thing is while he does speak bear, he's still as intelligent as he is, so I think you could get to a point where you can certainly interpret him like Chewbacca style.
Ah, okay.
'Cause if I'm not incorrect, with the wild shape, you maintain all your mental stats.
yeah. Let's see. I should.
Yeah, so he would be able to understand. He would just lose his ability to essentially speak in common.
So nod.
But he can understand all of the other languages that he speaks, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, seems.
Uh, so we haven't heard anything else from that room at all? Uh, yeah.
After the kind of given amount of time kind of expires, where you're pretty sure it came back in less than that amount of time last time you fought it, uh, you don't seem to hear anything from the room.
Okay. I rest to check that out real quick. Bad idea. Uh, kind of like my head up to the I can hear anything.
What's everyone else doing as Victor goes to do that? And you can roll a perception.
I'll follow him.
I'm going. That's he actually kind
So as you kind of keep up against the door, try to listen, you do hear more of everyone else kind of going about their things, but you feel like you also hear some sort of speech with it.
Okay. Um. Kind of quietly walk back and signal the others that I hear something in the.
So what were you thinking about asking Justin while he gets everybody's attention?
he would take out. I didn't best explain to her where they found it. Ask her recognizes if crypto even out.
I do not believe that this has anything to do with Jhesirya. This seems to be another search, perhaps, that this Mormesk was going after. I've heard tales of a thing called reoccurring death. Perhaps always been little more than a myth. But perhaps this is a danger that the wizard was interested in. And perhaps if he is the one who created the skull, that we might find that this was his desires was necromantic power. But I believe this is some sort of information invitation into a land of death and death reborn.
Justin nodded that.
Um. Tried. Could I understand this?
It was far too quiet. Like attempting to listen through the vibrations of the stone. It was little more than that you heard something.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. Uh. Investigated, right? Or
They go, knowing what
I I'm gonna unpocket. Oh, pocketed. Yeah, if he was, I'll unpocket him. Like a gap or anything underneath the tall stone doors.
Their construction here is one of those things where most doorways you do not see till it's opened.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like
Alright, yeah.
their masonry is like that's what they do. That's dwarvish.
Flummoxed. Try to pray about it.
And what are you thinking?
About
Roll a religion check.
fiddling it.
It's always interesting to have a cleric or a paladin with a just the flat.
kind of like perfectly.
Yeah.
Tomorrow,
That's your
out of luck.
I like Justin's scene where he was praying to revive Ezra. It was straight out of the Mummy to me, where the guy's got like 17 different holy symbols, and he's just doing a prayer for each one. When it doesn't immediately work, he drops it, goes to the next one, does the prayer, drops it, goes to the next one.
Burke is
No atheist.
so did I have it?
Yeah, it's more right now I'm trying to think of a way to twist things. Well, also, I don't think this is one of those things where you're getting an actual, like, verbal response. So that's a large part of it because it's going to be more a feeling that is responded to you kind of thing. So, I think as you kind of sit back and meditate and pray, you're focused on this idea of this creature, and it's some sort of necromantic arcane focus. And you're sitting in prayer over this thought, and you're holding the symbol of Tempest, and you start to feel the sensation of water flowing from the symbol of Tempest. And you feel a divine light, a warm light washing over your body, and this just like soft like stream of like sea mist kind of like spraying, and you just have this sensation of being a wash in the holy light and water of Tempest.
Catholic.
So essentially, one of the things about clerics is I think you would be well aware of all of the different spells, because you can essentially choose them each day. I actually have never actually spent the time wondering what that knowledge is kind of like, but I think on some level it's kind of assumed that you are at least aware of spells that you were not prepared to cast. And casting holy water is casting to create holy water is certainly something that you can do. So I don't think there's any reason for you not to also know that you have holy water on your person. The fact that you got the holy water was kind of what I was trying to avoid explicitly saying, use the holy water on your person. So the fact that you kind of got what I was going for, I think is sufficient for if you are thinking about holy water, you are also aware that you have some in your. Then I believe the process itself, you actually just need, I think it's 250 silver coins, but it's 25 gold worth to make holy water, I believe. Or there's a specific cost and it's in silver.
25 gold piece. Hour.
Yeah, I imagine doing that, so probably up again.
Yeah, I think the way it will kind of have to work out is to see if you all have any creative thoughts on how to now, like, kind of ambush it into that room. If you have any thoughts on how you'd like to destroy it, um, versus having to kind of like slowly go through the process, because I think you all understand that more or less you have to weather the fireball and then destroy the skull just as quick as possible.
I got one spell left. I could cast Shatter in there. That would do some damage.
I think 2 or 3 people are at like single digit hit points, so you guys
Yeah,
really aren't in a place to fight right now. That was part of what I was thinking. Is I think you guys are going to have to destroy this after some rest.
Okay. I was thinking. I was just if we, but we're all looking that bad.
Discuss it. Out of
Okay.
Do you all? I think you've taken multiple short rests already in this day. So it's more or less going to be kind of spending the next few hours. Do you all have thoughts on what you would like to do before it was actually darkness, or later in the day rather, or do you just want to kind of just downtime relaxing in the temple?
Shooting for a long rest, right?
Yeah, I think I have you guys having. I've got it at it's like midday, like 3 o'clock in the day. You have already like you long rested earlier this morning from like 10 the night before, and you've taken 2 rests already today. So yeah, you're basically looking to weather till about 10 o'clock when you can long rest.
Okay.
I think the only place you'd never checked was the downtime. If we
Would anybody want to go with Justin to check the storeroom?
I,
Let me have the two of you do an investigation. Going through, it seems like it was a lot of old, like dry goods and things. It's not really too much to really find in there. Most of the barrels have pretty well disintegrated with time. You are able to kind of collect up like a few little like bits of knickknacks and like gold. You can write down that you collect 20 silver and 9 gold pieces. Kind of just going through the place, it seems like there was just random stuff scattered. And then you find like a small little box that has some really finely carved, uh, like jade and oh man, why can't I think of what tusk is? Ivory figures. And there's just this really nice carved set of figures, and that was like buried inside of one of the wooden troughs of like beans that kind of burst open. And it was more or less like just disintegrated around this little case. Yeah.
they these figures like to aim that
They seem to be a matched set of sorts, but it doesn't seem. Actually, see, do you have a gaming proficiency with Justin?
uh,
damn it. Of Tyrell Storm.
oh, I do have three dragon ante. That's a
Yeah, I would say it doesn't appear to be a gaming set. It seems to be a match set where there's like a 1-to-1 ivory to jade, but it doesn't seem to be something you're familiar with.
Probably worth something.
We do to drop.
Yeah, I think he still got it.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe when he carried me.
You all ever unlock that box?
Or
They're pretty
did we?
small.
I thought we did.
We got to open the chest and asks. You ever got?
Yeah, that was the lockbox from the assayer's office. So when you all go into the actual temple, you saw Hamsa had the key to that room. I know somebody had thought about what key might open it, but eventually you all can ask her for the key and open that box. As she wouldn't have just like left it with him.
That key one.
I just edited it over onto the actual loot list for you all, but there is essentially, what is it? I think it's like 18 pounds of treasure inside of it. I don't know offhand what it breaks down to, but the actual chest itself is a good portion of that 43 pounds of. But that's the list. Is there's a couple hundred copper, couple hundred silver. Oh wait a second. Should be 90 electrum pieces, EP instead of SP, and then gold scattered throughout.
Oh, okay. I see now.
I mean, for what it's worth, that is essentially an unadorned chest. That's little special about it. Um, the assayer's office was basically where they would pay people for their days, like ore that they had mined. So they were basically that was just like the cashier's office.
You look under a corner. Added in.
Yeah, but before it was on Burke, I added it to Burke.
Oh,
Oh, well, and I had
Oh yeah, and I set up the sovereign glue so we knew how many uses that you had as well. But yeah, I try to get those certain little things, especially when I find if somebody doesn't add it right away, it's just as likely lost for good. Um, that's part of why I think I actually spent like an hour or something tracking down that scroll that Jason had gotten from Tamora. And I was like going through everything and I'm like, holy shit, this is so fucking old. I don't even have notes on this anymore. And the only thing that I really had was I was like, I am almost positive this was immediately after they carried Bowden? No, that was
a bronze.
your first guy, Bront. Yeah, I'm like, I feel like this was immediate after they carried Bront into the back of Tamora's temple and Justin did that like wish. And I think he rolled like a 20 or he rolled like a 100 on a D100. And that was the only reason I was like, I'm 99% sure that was meant to be a scroll of Revivify.
I had given a donation into.
I remember you got that crazy scroll.
definitely an interesting twist of role playing and not using meta knowledge to be like, hey, do you want to see if that scroll can revive my dead character over here?
All right. So, well, anyway, thanks for that money. So, are we gonna crash in the?
They're effectively back. Like most of the danger is essentially removed for you all traveling around this place. So if they went off and investigated, that would be maybe an hour and a half of the day. So it's more a question of, does anybody have downtime stuff that you would like to do in this initial day before we pop through the actual long rest?
There's no way that Jack. I don't have it.
Got some
Or
dwarves,
yeah.
man.
I was gonna ask. Generate the my passive. I do miss Sovereign Glue back together.
There's a lot that you can do with Sovereign Glue, and none of it would I waste on Thieves' Tools.
Yeah, I mean, worst
That's
case,
right.
I just
I'm going to throw it out there that Sovereign Glue is one of those things that one day you guys are going to think to use it, and it is going to be fucking hilarious. Sovereign Glue is one of those epic items that it's absolutely unused until the moment that it like completely changes everything.
I was just thinking that it might not even be. I guess it would have to be, but be able to break in that way at least. That'd be some buff to.
Yeah, I mean, you could fix the tool with Sovereign Glue, but it would just mean that it would break in another place. It wouldn't be a great. It's not a great use of Sovereign Glue. I don't. You would have to explain to me why it's epic to actually convince me that there's something epic about Sovereign Glue Thieves' Tools. But again, as far as I'm concerned, that's not meant to be something that destroys his Thieves' Tools. It's just meant to push him towards getting Thieves' Tools next time you guys see society. I mean, it's not just super glue. It's gluing something permanently. And whether it's a dab or something larger, it's always one use or more. And it's already well used.
Could these tools taste Sovereign Glue?
They would basically be ineffective if you made like a like a resin case for your Thieves' Tools. You would just have Thieves' Tools that don't do anything. It's like a block of clear.
so it's a really
Might be the most valuable thing.
All right, all
It
right.
definitely
I
is
get
the
it.
most valuable thing that you guys have.
So, we're gonna sleep, boys. Room? I guess the door's locked to the storeroom, right?
keep watch. Spread out. Never seen past that.
Oh, I think it was time we've encountered.
Well,
past
yeah,
this
that's what I mean.
Doesn't it regain it? Yeah, it regains it at a certain amount of time, so let's resting.
only had
That's
for
yeah.
life.
Last time it came back, it could.
Yeah.
So, if everybody is all set to go, you can take a long rest here. At some point during the night, you all are going to get woken up as you hear speaking inside of the Temple of Dumathoin. Anybody interested in paying attention to what happens, or are you all just kind of staying in slumber?
Ezra would probably try to listen to see who's talking, like what they're saying.
Are you still a bear?
No,
He's got an
I should.
hour.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
I know Justin would recognize the figure. It is a large bugbear. I believe Ezra has not met this person. You kind of hear little fragments of a report to the spider that the dragon has raided the temple. Most of the forces have been killed, and many of the orcs have fallen. And Justin, you would recognize the figure as King Grol from Cragmaw Castle.
He's gonna try and protect.
I think as you kind of look around and keep an eye, more or less trying not to move or show signs of being awake, do notice as Grol begins to walk out of the temple after speaking with the spider, that he does kind of stop for a moment, noticing some of the faces. For what it's worth, he would at least recognize, I believe, Burke and Justin. So he kind of pauses, and you would be able to recognize that that's kind of about the moments where he paused, was about when each of your faces would have been more visible to him. Um, but then continues to walk on out of the door and leave the temple here. Yeah, other than that little interruption there at some point in the evening, everybody can take long rests and you can wake up the next morning.
Quirky.
Wait,
uh,
I want to trigger the.
okay.
okay,
Oh, no,
I
you're
have
there.
an. Sorry. You go.
No, you. I don't know.
Okay, I have an idea. I changed my spells here now during that long rest, and I noticed I have an absorb element spell. So I can maybe face tank the fireball, depending on how I roll.
I was thinking that I remember last time we tried to use. I was gonna try and use Minor Illusion again. Try and just get to shoot fireball. Not there.
Or like send in a of die.
Yeah.
Is your familiar is
Yes. I wouldn't tell him to do that though. I wouldn't. I want to cast a spell again. I only do it one more time. He's resistant to cold, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, non-magical attacks that aren't silver. Not resistant to fire.
Go to
Oh,
the
no,
next line.
yeah, my bad. It's his immunities are fire and poison.
Immune.
Yeah, he can't take anything at all. Um,
I don't
And you
think
have
anybody would know that.
I don't know. Would Victor know the properties?
I don't think so.
I could ask him. I'll ask him
All right,
about
let's
that.
try.
I didn't think about it either. But I mean, yeah, I'll just unpocket him and ask him. I'm sure he would tell me. He would have to tell me.
I mean, our whole plane of existence is fire, so it's kind of just what we do.
See, there you go.
Oh, little tiny.
What?
Ding, ding, ding.
I'll cast a minor illusion and send him. Maybe. I'll
Tiny
like it.
minor illusion.
I can only do one thing. Like maximum's like 5 feet, something.
That's bullshit.
Sorry, what's bullshit?
Saying that
My job to challenge you. It's not.
I know.
I'm not
I
your
appreciate
enemy.
that. Oh no, I know. Challenging. Not gonna be. Not gonna do something. Trigger a fireball.
Yeah, effectively, this isn't going to be a big combat. I just want you all to have a creative way of solving this. So, without like really making you sacrifice a lot of time on this, I think the best plan that you're going to come up to probably involves those three things right now. Ezra in wild shape, Ezra in wild shape, completely immune to the damage because if he falls out of wild shape, he's still at full health, basically. The imp, and then the illusion. And that's kind of what you guys want to play off of, is trying to get enough creatures in there to draw the fireball and then go in there with everybody else. And for what it's worth, you might come to the solution that it also means the rogues going in there because their dexterity means they're likely to take the half. But that's where I think you start to really approach what's the best way to do it and what is worth losing to trying to draw it out. But that's kind of up to you guys, though.
Good. How to think. That's kind of what I was getting.
Well, that's like what
Narrow
I
defense.
felt like you. Yeah, I felt like you hit it on the point, and you guys are aware that this thing has like a flame laser, basically, that it can shoot as well. That is extremely effective versus one target. So one target is not a functional draw the fireball out.
Okay.
Well, I'm rushing.
Also, send in one of the rogues. Victor's familiar and wild shape. Have the standing by Burke, just so we don't let Burke. Given where the door is, tough to be in arrow range. Fireball.
work. Don't.
Just suggest.
I think he had to step away.
Yep.
Oh no, he's back.
Perhaps it would be wise for you to allow the others to enter first. I think it might be viable for the little cute one, the bear, and then perhaps the illusion. And if it comes to the need, then you can run in.
Yeah, I was thinking just hang out with me on the side there where I'm casting the.
I mean, I can cover a fair amount of. He's not the best tactician. He's. Oh,
Okay, so we're ready.
Yeah, I'm in bear ship, so I'm ready.
All right, well, someone's got to unlock the door.
your familiar can probably.
Oh yeah, I'll send you over there to get the key and then unlock the door.
I don't know how long.
1 minute. Yeah, I'll cast minor illusion. I'll make a. I was thinking like a. I don't know, like a. Thinking like a priest. And it's so like a.
Like cleric.
Yeah.
Make
Like
it
a.
personal.
A cleric or.
I'll make a shitty version of Burke.
Bigger version.
I can. It's
What?
only like a 5-foot cube, so he's only gonna be like 5 foot tall, I guess.
Spider starts to use prestidigitation to clean all of the shit off of Burke. Are you all ready?
All right, and then I'll I'll wait for the nod from everybody to make sure they're all good.
Where are Burke and Satoris kind of standing and everything?
I'm up where I think I just around the corner.
You guys should be back. We can. Is that you? If you're right around that out of the.
Yeah, I was trying to be far enough away, not get hit. Close enough that my short leg.
Fire American.
I can't be more. I could. At the sea.
So you're casting an illusion at the door. Ezra is waiting in bear form at the door, and then you is basically standing at the door.
Yeah, with the key in hand, preparing to command him to open.
I'm gonna stand next to Hamza because
All right.
So yeah, Burke, you're going to see as everybody's kind of preparing. You're gonna kind of like look away for a moment, kind of keeping a vision ahead, and Hamza's gonna disappear from your peripherals. That was actually exactly why I was asking where you guys were at, was to see if anybody was about to notice that Hamsa uses invisibility to just disappear. And you'll just see after a few moments where she walks away, and you kind of hear, rather, her steps. She moves through the room. Perhaps we can make this far less dangerous. And she'll walk past Ezra as he hears that. And then a spider creature is going to walk up right next to Ezra. And the three of them, I believe, are currently standing there.
Yeah, so yeah, it would be the illusion, him, and the imp.
Okay, I got you. If the illusion's already up there, will also be a spider about the size of like someone's head.
Okay, so we're ready. we're good.
The spider says, "Now is a good time."
Okay, you open the door.
Gotcha. So you starts to open the door. There's going to be a flash of explosion a few moments later, as the skull notices everything. Pretty much, Ezra, a roll for a dexterity. The spider is going to blink out of existence. I have to actually roll the dice. So 26 damage. I believe the DC is way higher than 10, so you'll take the full 26 to whatever form you are in right now, Ezra.
Yeah, I'm not a bear anymore.
Yeah. Wow.
Actually, wait, I forgot one thing that I was going to actually try.
Hit points, the bear.
19.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not a lot, but it's like 19 extra hit points over my regular hit
total.
points.
Can you cat?
Twice every short
thought,
rest.
Ezra, I thought the idea was you go into bear form, fire damage.
Did.
It would have. He would have soaked up whatever was the bear hit points. He would take the leftovers. But that's actually my bad. I kind of forgot what I was going to do with Hamsa there. Because you're going to see as the skull starts to flame the font of create the flame of fire, the little spider. My bad. I fucked that up so bad. The little spider is going to mutter a few words, and the flame is going to disappear. It should be safe. So, as you all are told, it is safe. How does everybody intend to murder a flame skull?
We're gonna start
Okay.
running.
Jasson will dash in and stab it through an maybe through.
So, Jackson's trying to pin it into place. Burke will take a swing with his axe. Let me have the two of you guys roll those attacks. I think I said axe, I meant hammer. So, Taurus, Ezra, and then Victor, what are the three of you doing?
I just wanna. Am I still in a bear form then? Just I got kind of confused.
Yeah, my bad. The effectively the spider counterspelled the actual fireball.
Cool.
You are still in bear form.
Yeah, then I'm gonna try to claw at it and bite it. Smash it with my big
Gotcha.
claws.
So make that attack there. I think both of you are still missing, so I think Perk, you have the opportunity with one of your channel divinities to make another attack, I think. The bonus action attack. 15 will hit. 21 hits as well. Doing 16 from the bear. Starts to like crack a little bit under the damage as the two of you start. Oh, wait a second. That's the same attack from Burke. My bad. So the 16. Victor, Satoris, what are you all putting down on the skull?
Don't know if I could get a shot.
You don't have to worry too much about the actual combat for what it's worth.
Okay.
I'm just
I'll-
assuming everybody is swarming the skull more than needing a place for you all to be.
I'll just there then. I'll take an Eldritch last shot at it.
The Taurus was just gonna stay outside and hear the commotion as they bang and beat the skull back into submission.
Gotcha. 20 hits with that Eldritch Blast. And it'll do 12 as it pushes its back. It's going to seem to maintain, but you're going to hear that like crunch of bone against stone as it bashes back into the wall.
Works good. Oh, anyway.
The little spider on the ground is going to weave a little web in with its front feet as this web kind of casts across the room. And as it covers the skull, you see as its fire starts to freeze into ice. And that final blast from the Eldritch Blast slamming it against the wall, the skull is going to shatter against the wall and crumble to the stone.
Good shot, Victor.
Yeah.
Pour holy water.
Yeah, I'm not sure if holy water has a quantity, but I think tick off 1. I feel like it's like 1 of 10, maybe? But you actually will see as there's like an actual like green wisp that kind of floats up and then dissipates into a smoke, and all of the bone fragments just disintegrate.
We did it.
I
Yeah.
think. Good thing.
No. So there's nothing left, right? In terms of like the goop.
There's physically nothing left from the skull.
Okay. Well, that went a lot smoother than I expected. But he died, so that's right.
Jhesirya is important to me, and I appreciate your willingness to come. But I cannot promise we will be coming back to this place immediately. If you all are interested, we can go. But there is still the dragon to deal with in this place. It has destroyed many of my forces off to the east, to the north of the mountains. I do not believe it knows where this place is, but it does seem to be searching the mountain looking for us.
We did,
Grol.
and hello, gentlemen.
I wouldn't mind.
It it's a fairly large dragon, right?
He's still young as far as dragons go. Is not the most dangerous a dragon will be. But that does not mean that it is an easy task to.
7. Did you just say the name of the dragon?
No.
Okay. Thought maybe you did, and I missed it. Thought I wanted to make a note of it, but I imagined it.
No.
So what do we think? We have to go get this dragon and help out our friend King Grol, the bugbear?
The safer with
Best for the people of Phandalin. They have a long recovery ahead of them.
how about you, sir?
Dragon hunting, huh? How does it taste cooked? That's my only question.
Ever eat?
I've been in water deep before where there is an option to buy it, but it is quite expensive.
Oh,
Think we can get a dragon from mountains to Waterdeep before it spoils?
Depends how much magic you are willing to use.
Dragon meat it is.
I understand Grol has made camp near us here. They have tracked the dragon from the shrine, and as it left Savras, it has come back to the north, and it is just beyond us here. First step will be to trek up and into the mountains.
Doesn't it?
So as you all prepare to leave here, is there anything else that you would like to do? You need to go to Phandalin, or would you like to go directly after Bugbear and the orcs?
Justin might want to stop by and since we've been to the general store. I don't know if that's anything that they'll.
Thieves' tools are among adventuring gear. you can effectively get an extra set for, I believe, 25 gold, or you can just replace your broken pieces for a few gold.
Might as well just buy a second.
I will. I applies to cast fine again. I like.
Yeah, so Barthen has some nice incense.
Okay. Buy like. I guess I'll buy 3 more. That's okay.
See a reason why it would be an issue for him to have that much.
Okay. Oh no, I was asking them like. How much money do we have again? We have a good amount now.
So I think, yeah, should we just take that out?
$30 plus. How much are
25.
okay, that's not bad.
Pressing the wrong button. Yeah, I'm thinking about. There's like a component pouch I can buy. Be sure.
Yeah, he definitely has a generic component pouch that you can pick up and then essentially modify to your own needs over time. Mechanically, yes, you can buy a component pouch.
Then I'll do it. That's
Okay.
25.
Yeah, I believe that's 25.
Okay.
I feel like usually it's like 50 or less. So whatever half the chain shirt is, you would just have to go to Linian, but that's perfectly functional within town. I feel like it was
So
Ty.
Vanton was the one with the.
Oh yeah, Vanton and Ty had damage short swords, but I think it was Ty who actually dropped it off with Linian.
I think I picked it back up because we were about to go take on the hands.
Yeah.
He didn't get done fixing it. And also just for shit and giggles, I don't know if it's a lot of money. I was saying the Saturn suggestion pick up like honeycomb, sweet oil, the suggestion, and then chip a mica for. I don't know if I actually.
All right, so more than likely those are things that you either have like an arcane focus, or a component pouch. Like every spellcaster usually has those. Unless it says that there is a value of gold next to it, you don't require that. And unless it says it consumes it, you don't have to have it separate each time.
Gotcha.
So more than likely those are components that you have covered with your arcane focus. What I will throw out there is like I'm pretty sure what Ezra just did is essentially got a second arcane focus. So if he ever gets disarmed, somebody might take his component pouch and not think a second thing about like a sprig of mistletoe, and he would still be able to cast as long as he has that mistletoe. And it's the same type of thing. Like if you want to hide the particular component, like a wizard carrying bat guano, like hidden on their person, they can cast Fireball when somebody takes their arcane focus. So there's different levels of how like prepared you are. Like I assume most rogues can be stripped naked, and you can be looking at a rogue, and somewhere on that rogue there's a thieves' tools. And it's just one of
Don't
those
think
things
too
like,
hard about where I'm hiding it, though.
and that's the wonders of rogues. But that's kind of like, there's a general level of how important it is to you to hide these things on your person. Probably most thieves' tools are normally stored like essentially up a sleeve. But you can have different components, like for instance, I don't know, whatever it costs to cast like Misty Step, you can get that component and hide that on your person that's separate from those other things. And that way, if you're ever captured, you have a way out. But other than that, like the holy water thing, it consumes essentially 250 pieces of silver, like in dust. That's something that every single time you want to cast holy water, you have to have that silver dust. But like, I don't know, just a random component, you have that on you based on your arcane focus.
So, do you have any ideas where we might?
And I'm pretty sure that the only person who could make healing potion doesn't really like us.
Yeah, I think we fucked that up.
Yeah, but we're gonna go kill a dragon. That he doesn't want that either. Right? We might have a shot. Shasta might have a shot. Whoever's the most charming might. And we have cash now.
Before I leave, I'll buy a piece. Micah.
Ask someone also if they can find if Sildar is still in town, and to ask him about signet ring.
That was from the skeleton tomb.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly where.
I think that was in the crypt where you rescued the guys.
Oh yeah, it was in the sarcophagus.
And what do you keep getting at with this Formica that you're trying to buy?
Micah and
Yeah,
for
that's
Shatter.
that's included within your.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't like, if you want to always be able to cast Shatter, that's perfectly fine. That's not something that you can just buy like in game. So
I got
if
you.
you need that, you're going to have to actually essentially find like a stonemason, a dwarf
I was saying, like,
mining.
Yeah, I was saying, like, if he has it, then buy it.
No,
Also,
Rare shit. Okay.
that's why. No, it's not necessarily rare, but it's not something that people just have. That's why I was explaining a component pouch and an arcane focus separate you from needing that. But if you want to always be able to cast something like that, like a wizard might keep bat guano on them for casting fireball when they don't have access to their component pouch or to their arcane focus. So if you're trying to have that part of Shatter, you're going to have to go out of your way to get it. And as far as I know, you're talking about a piece of stone.
Yeah.
So you have to essentially find at some point this stone. It's not necessarily rare so much as actually locating a quarry kind of thing. So you would be able to meet Sildar at the Town Master's Hall. And he can look over the signet ring. If I understand correctly, this is the signet of House Trisandor. They're the ones who once ruled this area and were the Baron appointed this land from Neverwinter.
Thank you. Tell him what we're planning to do next and deal with the dr-
Can you say the name of the signet ring family again?
House Trisand. I misspelled that.
It's good to me.
I think anybody in town will be grateful enough to help us get an introduction to the potion maker. Or do we think she's dead? Not clear.
Might be. Name here. Gadget? No. Tywin? Abra.
That sounded right.
I don't know.
Adabra. Gwyn?
Adabra Gwyn. There you go. That's it. Alchemist. Which question mark? What I wrote down. I think we literally crested a hill, saw the Minotaur, and fucked off. Literally what happens. Talking about like this thing, she conjured them?
Was it the Manticore, not a Minotaur?
Oh yeah, Manticore. Manticore.
Eh?
Different thing. Different thing. Yep.
I would not be surprised if you were able to get something from her. But as I understand, her home was ravaged by a manticore. So what she has may be less than desirable.
She's still living in those ruins?
She's never been one for the town. She came here for a few days, but she's since gone back home. So perhaps you can go investigate with her.
Great. Do that. Goes up for that. Going with Adabra back to her ruins. I like the idea of people in town thinking we're useful.
This lady's definitely not gonna think we're useful.
Late.
Yeah, I mean, fuck it. I mean, she may have something left, right?
Seems like it's sort of on the way, actually, out of town.
I think her place would have been
Hard for
like
us.
southwest, and you guys are going to end up having to go like northeast towards the high peaks of the Sword Coast.
Okay, so I take that back. It's exactly the wrong direction. Should we go?
Actually, thinking about the mountains we're gonna have to go, do we think we have to get thicker clothes? It's gonna be cold up there.
Ezra with the big brains over here. Yeah, it would probably be pretty freaking cold up there.
They are snow-capped mountains, so that seems like a safe bet.
They're like a tailor, something in town, or I
That's
imagine.
North and South.
Go check out that.
Burke, let me have you roll a d6. And what is it? We got 5 of you right now. Let me have everybody else roll a d100. So, upon visiting Adabra, um, she does seem to have 3 potions available, and then a 4th potion. It is kind of a like a greenish blue, and they almost like swirl around each other in like constant circles. And she explains it as a potion of climbing.
You also have a. You don't know what it does, right? It's like a orange something. Get her to get it.
Oh man, it would be wonderful if you had a DM who always has notes of these things that I definitely don't lose on a regular basis.
They're the most powerful, valuable potion.
Where is this potion at on your list? I hate all of the X'd out things. I just want you all to know.
It's right in the items needing identification.
God damn. Do you know what session you got that in?
No, because all the session notes prior.
Um,
This was we found this one in the room with the 5 bugbears. Like that first room.
Well, let's do a few things here. Let's take a break. Let's have you all level up to level 5. And I will try to track that down, and then after the break, we'll join back in. Level up as much as it is like quick to happen. Big decisions that you have to make, you don't necessarily have to make now. But for what it's worth, I'd like everybody to roll their hit points, so we can get that going, and for like you can then basically level up between now and next week. But do the big starts of leveling up to level 5 right now, and I think I know exactly what that potion is. So let's see, 3 healing potions, and then the potion of climbing would be 160 gold. So total, you're looking at like 310.
Right. Pay a lot of it.
The reddish brown gem. Well, that is the Keaton's ointment.
Yeah, he might have been away when I said that one.
Oh, okay.
What is it?
The Keaton's ointment. Got 3 uses of it. It's basically like a good healing potion.
like a nice spinel gemstone here. Got a good value to it. I could. Let me have someone roll a D100 for me. First one matters.
Um,
I could give you 85 gold for it.
Attempt to and sort of being insightful, see value.
I am effectively offering you 50% for it, and it's because you are in the middle of nowhere trying to sell a gem.
Okay, I mean that makes sense.
Gems are one of those things that you guys can collect those all you want, and they're usually the densest value of gold. But the big thing is there's a massive difference between trying to sell it over time, and trying to sell it because you fucking need gold right now. So there's different levels of trying to sling your gems. And she 100% recognizes that this gem is worth almost 200 gold, but is effectively offering you a lowball offer for sure.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense. It's either, I mean,
I was gonna step in and kind of chime it up and be like, "Oh, this is a very fine gem, but it's also, Dragon Priest gem. It's a lot more than what you
It's
think
quite
it is."
valuable. You should save it. 310 gold, please.
I can't roll anything.
All right, we're
I'm trying to. Whatever. All right.
Here's the thing. I'm not really a big fan of doing haggling. I don't see merchants as needing to haggle over things, not when you're trading in big things.
I was
Um,
going for a.
if you want to haggle, that's fine, but as far as I'm concerned with this character, she has no use for this gem. She's willing to buy it from you all because it is worth more than she's going to offer.
All right.
I mean the electrum pieces are half a.
I think Electrum is
5 silver.
Yeah, that sounds right.
You have enough
so I
money.
just-
In
Yeah, I
general, slinging your gems, go to a city and sling them in a city, or try to sell them over time, and that's how you'll get the best value for them.
yeah, we don't need to sell this to get this done. We'll have 100 and something gold pieces. I
I'll
think we
tell
just pair.
Dabra, fair up. Fine offer, but
But like, to throw it out there for you all, like, an alchemist normally is looking for like natural things that they can turn into potions. They can turn into magical stuff. There is certainly a certain use for some gems, perhaps. But more often than not, you're looking for somebody who's actually enchanting stuff, or a wizard. Perhaps a wizard who is trying to become a lich.
Yeah, let's definitely help.
I'm fine with buying all.
So we're gonna pair. I'm working on the math. but we're gonna pay her a giant pile of copper.
I think you had 17 gold in copper.
Yeah,
Um,
calculator.
that sounds about right.
310. I've almost got it, but it'll take me a while to count this out.
89 more gold.
What's spider eyes?
I don't know what the spider eyes are, but they are not valuable.
How are we gonna distribute?
Let's say, give them to the have. Hey, feed them.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Give the potion.
Yeah, I'll add it to my. I've added one.
Right. White drag. Temple? At the temple recently.
I think he meant the temple.
Temple of Savras.
Ready to.
I'm just thinking if we're gonna be climbing mountaintops, we should get some warmer clothes before we do that.
What was that? I missed it.
Yeah, I was just thinking if we should be climbing mountaintops, we should get some warm clothes too, because like we said, they get pretty cold.
Be all right, you know. Got burning hands and fireball now, so
I'm not sure about how comfortable I am being warm by fireball.
no, but seriously, we'll get the jackets.
Yeah, I think feel like Traveler's Cloaks is the one they kind of list, but I would say you can probably get fur like cloaks for could probably do furs at like 5 gold.
All right. Okay. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Let's probably stop at camp and last.
Couldn't hurt, right? I mean,
So I think in general, if you guys were planning on heading back to find Grol, you'd be more or less heading back towards Cornbahir, and can kind of find your way along to them and eventually make your way to them. But it's basically on your way to start heading back in that direction. Approaching from the southeast, you all are kind of walking up the mountain as you start to see a bit of a clearing on a little bit of a plateaued area with tree cover covering it from the view up above. It seems like a little bit of a position that from above is protected, and from walking up to it from below on the mountain, it's a little bit more clear to actually spot. So you feel pretty confident that they are at least aware that the dragon might be watching where they are, as you all come up on the peak. But from the side, you start to come up on Bugbear King Grol. He has 2 ogres with him, and then a small retinue of orcs.
Justin hold up a hand in greeting to Grol, and we're here as promised.
Greetings to you.
The spider informed us that dragon's active. We're hoping to deal with it. Can you tell us?
Just yesterday, we were. I guess really be more than that. 2 days past, we were attacked in the Shrine of Savras, and many of us were injured and lost. But the dragon seems to have once again retired to the peak of the mountains. We have not begun to scout the area, but it is our intention to try to gain a little bit more insight into its presence. I assume you are working under the spider now, too?
I am. Proved useful. He aided us in some.
Like a little grumble, and like kind of the only word that you can kind of make out is just vile wizards.
Yeah, they have a way about it. As it happens, I lower my life.
No doubt one day she will call for it. If you all are working with us, it is our duty to try to find the dragon. And perhaps we can move in as a team and take what we might. Have you traveled to the summit? Have you seen anything of its land?
Not as of yet.
Well,
Perhaps a scouting party.
perhaps that should be our plan. If we can scout forward and learn what we might about the dragon's presence, we can plan to assault it as one.
There's just be their thought.
Burke looks knowingly. Stands the plan.
Yeah, seems like a good a plan as any.
So you all basically are aware they're kind of like pointing off northeast of you all, towards the highest peak of Icefire Hold, of Icefire Peak, and their intention is to kind of like move up the mountain along the different arms that it has. One kind of going essentially like like down into the east, so you kind of approach from the west. One going kind of down and like almost fully southerly before turning a little bit more westward. So you're coming up like east, northeast, and then north. And then another one from the opposite side where you're coming almost directly west, and you're traveling from the east. So when you all look at the mountain, how would you like to kind of approach the idea of scouting the peak?
Is there any sort of tree cover up higher on the peak?
As you all get too much higher, you are approaching the tree line. You're pretty much in like evergreens at this point, and much higher is like the permafrost of snow, and it's just like the desolate mountaintop.
Get high.
Always different. Noticed. Some of us that are noisier just tromp right up the most direct way.
Can we maybe out tracks to
You're looking for tracks of the dragon that you've seen flying overhead on a regular basis for the last 2 weeks?
oh, that's around too much.
It's more or less like this scouting party is them saying, let's go up to where it lands and then see if we can find tracks of where it lives.
Maybe we can get up to the top and just peek over the top edge without being tromping around with. Because we don't really know what's up there, right? In Grol, have you been up there?
We have made a point to avoid the dragon. It was not our intention to hunt one.
Have you seen it? You hadn't seen it fly out.
Try to be there when it gets home. Push the dragon. Imagine there's a structure or a cave or something, construct where it lives that we want to find. I think we might be better off scouting at night. We've only seen the dragon. We could only see the dragon during the day, and we've only seen it during the day. But
Just one thing. Climbing a mountain at night doesn't seem like a really good idea either.
for a bear,
You know, ride the bear up to the top.
I'd be more comfortable scouting in.
well, so what's the choice before us? To pick a direction, or to pick a strategy? Because I think we want to amble up there and see what's going on, or do we want to wait till see the dragon leave, then go up there? I just don't want to get caught in the open by the dragon. I can't run very fast.
As all things, I'm inclined to give you all the choice to determine everything. And pretty much every single time that I delineate things, it's trying to narrow it so you have a decision to make instead of not making a decision. But I'm looking for you all to decide how you would like to scope the dragon.
Why don't we just find, is there ever a way that we recover to get to the mountain? And then
Recover sort of.
Yeah, you're already on the mountain. Like, you guys, this whole campaign's been on the Sword Coast Mountains.
gotcha.
Like the Sword Mountains.
Yeah. Okay. I guess we would have to.
We could have Grol and action and action.
I plan to split my orcs into two. So if you all have a decision where you would go, we will attempt to scout the others. Hopefully, some of us return.
Take the out the south.
Path looks easy to climb.
Pick a path, and that can be the easiest to climb.
Yeah, then the north.
You guys know that I make all of this stuff up as we go, right? Like, if you want to climb the easiest path, that's the path you can climb.
All right.
Perk's
That-
gonna stand up and say, "Let's just go." Justin, I like your plan. Right behind you.
So the orcs are going to make a plan for. Let's see. I think. Towards the first sign of dusk, they're gonna start moving up towards the peak. To try to align it with when you all would kind of get around that side of the mountain to give you chances. So everybody's kind of coming from the same directions at once. So the orcs are going to hold off for like the first sign of like the first moment of dusk. And basically you all will advance like during twilight. And then their plan will be to more or less like kind of hunker down for the night and then try to move again during the day. From what we've seen, it seems active during the day. If we move during night, that might be when movement is safest, and perhaps we can get closest. Does that sound good for you all?
That sounds good to me.
Dusk, and hopefully for all of our lives.
Let's make a plan to sort of coordinate their timing of our twilight. Keep watch.
Well, you all would effectively be moving constantly to get to that furthest position. And then it's like kind of they're saying at twilight is when like break cover of the trees and start to
Okay.
move towards the peak. Because
Okay,
whoever's going to that furthest location is going to have to travel the whole time. And you're going to be hours behind.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Because effectively, like from this map here, you all are leaving the peak to the southwest of Icefire Peak and heading up to Icefire Peak. And if you guys are going for that furthest one, you know, you're a good bit of a day's travel behind where the other orcs will be coming from. But you're basically, the plan is to move at twilight to leave the trees, but otherwise try to get to the peak with what light you can, and then like stop for the night and try to move once the dragon is active again, or once you can see where it is.
Okay, yep. That sounds like a good plan.
So who wants to lead the group as you all are basically climbing through the mountain here? Essentially like survival proficiency, a cartographer, kind of anything that gives you the ability to track your way through this mountain and through the woods.
Survival.
I mean, I can give it a try. See if I say this right.
So go for a survival check there. Feels pretty consistent, keeping the peak to effectively your north, to your left side. You guys feel like you're able to push on pretty well. Let me have everybody make Constitution saves. So, Justin, you are going to take a level of exhaustion. So all of your checks will be at disadvantage until after you rest. And then moving on through the cold, you all are able to get into position. You're basically on that arm of the mountain looking west, and at those moments of twilight is when you all have agreed to start to move. And you can start to move on forward and start to make your way to the peak. What do you all have thought-wise as you move into the open?
Um, I was thinking maybe keep each other, maybe. Dragon text, I imagine the east fire, so basically take out all of us in one shot, maybe.
Hey,
Yeah, I
can
guess
you
how wide, sort of, how spread out can.
It's more that you can spread out in a line, side to side. You guys are walking effectively single file here on the actual like spine of the mountain.
Okay, that's kind of what.
Yeah, this is like an Everest moment here where you guys are like walking up from like the Lhotse face towards Everest's peak.
Hey, can your invisible friend tell us what we're walking into? Or is he just in?
Talking to me, I'm assuming. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
can
of
he
course.
can yeah. Um, yeah, I guess I'll have him maybe just 50 feet ahead of us. Yeah, if you see a dragon or anything of like danger, back.
Alrighty.
I have.
Yeah. I think 30 feet is good enough. I don't know if we want to try a rope thing, especially since we're on a mountain, in case somebody falls, kind of catch each other, maybe.
So how steep is this approach? That how
It's pretty easily like 60 plus degrees at any given time. It's pretty steep, but it's not vertical. But you're very clearly like reaching I don't know, like the peak of the mountain.
not sure we want
Not at
risk
that point yet.
entangling all our.
Yeah.
Imagine a
You're trying to use scent to locate a dragon's lair?
imagining that there's could be a smell from paying attention.
Uh,
Thinking about it.
Can I use history to check if I studied or up anything about dragons at all?
What are you trying to?
Information, like if there's any, like what are you saying? There's a over I could. I like all.
In case you've read about how to find a dragon player.
There you go. Yeah.
You can roll a history check. Does anybody remember what kind of dragon that you've seen?
I remember it being a blue dragon.
Anybody else have any thoughts? From the description of a blue dragon, you are aware that they are burrowers and that they tend to burrow into sand.
Sand. Okay. Yeah, I'll relay that to the group.
So
Hmm.
Let me have you roll a stealth and a perception from you.
Okay.
It would technically be advantage for his stealth check. Oh, didn't have to be whispered, but you got him.
Stealth and a what now? I'm sorry.
Perception.
Massive. I just roll it.
You can just roll a d20 and tell me what the modifier is for use
Yeah.
perception.
A 12.
So about an hour after dusk, with like this, the sky is like an orange fire of light through most of this. You guys are high enough up that this time of dusk is a long process for the mountain and like the glow of the earth around you. And after about an hour of you all moving up through this point, you do have you kind of come back to the group and warn you all that there is a creature ahead. It seems to be like he kind of describes it as if it's like licking itself on one of the rocks before you all. It's like a really big lion, and it's like licking at its paws.
Nice.
But it's just up ahead.
I flick him a copper piece.
What the fuck am I supposed to do with this? And he melts it.
It's better than nothing. Okay.
He hands you a piece of paper and he says, "Just sign here. It's good for a copper, I assure you."
I'll pass.
Just like one signature? Put X here if you don't know how to read.
Hold on, I gotta step away for a second. Hold on.
So with you warning that there's a creature ahead, what are you all thinking? Starting to get to a point where it's like leveling out a little bit. It's like a 30-degree inclination, and there's like large rock formations. And by the description of it, just ahead of you all on the spine of this part of the mountain, there's going to be like a turn and then a creature almost sitting watch.
I think he would have recognized the dragon, right? So friends with.
Another.
Yeah, we've seen one magic. Never heard that it got destroyed by anybody. They have wings, you?
I don't think so. Wasn't flying.
Dude, you're awesome.
Yeah, between you and me, if I can kill this fucker, I'm gonna. And he points to Victor.
Hard. Good.
Okay, I'm back.
So, is anybody able to make friends with this thing or assess Manticore? I could walk up there and get its attention. Our job, but Berg feels.
Maybe we should probably at least go up and see what it actually is. It is
Perhaps we
for
can scare it off. Maybe something we could scare off, or
What are it's a manticore or not?
we just have the description from.
Gotcha. Okay, what are manticores right
Probably
now?
nothing.
Uh,
I think they're not afraid of us.
would you know Ezra? You know, got the whole druid thing going. Do you know anything about manticores?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I haven't actually met a manticore before, so
Okay.
probably just have the general knowledge.
I was thinking that I'm gonna try and use minor illusion again to scare it off. Thing.
I mean,
Or
if this thing is on the mountain, eating for territory. If it is something.
okay. Yeah, they. Oh, never mind. I wouldn't know that. Never mind. Let's get a look at it.
Yeah, no worries. I can go first.
I had to switch my headsets. Did you guys make a decision? Are you sending Ezra?
I think we're all going to go up, but with Ezra sort of taking the lead. Maybe give him a little bit of space and then after.
I think it was already leading, so we're kind of just doing the same thing as we were before.
Yeah,
Giving
but
a little
just
more space.
yeah, give me that extra space that I need.
So as you all start to progress forward, let me have everyone do a stealth check.
So thin air is really getting to Jason, apparently.
Don't worry, I'll carry you back down the hill, buddy.
Like fuck.
Coughing and wheezing.
In 26 though.
The things that don't help. So, as you all round the corner, Ezra would be the first to see that there appears to be a lion-like creature with a large mane just perched atop of a rock. It seems to have like an actual like frozen chunk of its like mane is frozen in a block of ice, and it's looking directly at you, Ezra, as you round the corner. It's got like large spikes inside of this mane, and as you round the corner,
Well, I halt. I hear someone say that.
what are you doing here?
We are. Well, how to put this? Have you seen a dragon anywhere here?
There's a dragon in these parts.
You wouldn't happen to know more specific?
Have you anything of value?
Well, that depends on what you value, I guess.
Tribute, sacrifice, food.
I mean, I have some rations. Those will do.
Are the rest of us able to see this conversation? Or are we still coming up the path?
It's kind of up to you all. I assume he hasn't gone too much further past like rounding the corner when he first saw it, but it's more or less up to you all.
This creature speaking in common.
Yep.
I think we should. I'm going to stay back and just listen.
Me
I want
too.
a crowd. I want a crowd Ezra while he's doing his thing.
Justin might move up towards Ezra. Here's the conversation starting, and it seems immediately hostile. I imagine food is more so. Justin, as he can get up to join Ezra, and having heard the conversation, he'll call out to the creature, speak to the creature. He'll say, "Hey, I imagine food may be harder to come by with the dragon about. If could would dealing with the dragon be worth anything to you?"
Perhaps there would be cause. Intend to kill the dragon?
Or at least drive it off. Does it seem? I don't know. Can Jess get any insight as to whether the creature seems enthusiastic or intrigued about the suggestion?
Roll an insight.
Ugh.
Seems skeptical of your presence. It's perhaps the opposite of enthusiastic that you're going after the dragon, but it doesn't seem to trust your presence. And in the moment of you kind of popping out from behind the rock as well, it seems to just be kind of rearing up a little bit. No longer like perched, it's kind of standing on all fours. If you have no food, you have no tribute. Perhaps that's everything.
Do you Justin might pull out one of the jade figures from the box they had found, and sort of ask if this is any sort of thing they think the creature would be interested in.
Hey, sorry to jump in. I gotta take off. I got an emergency call. I'll
Be well, have a great week here.
you do the same.
Later,
You know,
Ty.
Take care.
Take it easy, Ty.
later.
It's going to leap forward and going from almost like 40 or 50 feet away within a few moments. It's like right up and on top of you. As it's kind of like looks down, it's what you're messing with, and you just hear like a roar. Tribute, not trash.
Of course, I didn't mean to offend. I have a gem. Perhaps you'd be interested in that. That'd be the kind of tribute.
What gem are you talking about? And roll a persuasion.
So this would again be that reddish brown gem
Gotcha.
that he.
Yeah, you can do a persuasion with advantage there.
So I think it would be just a normal roll because I have disadvantage on all ability checks from the exhaustion.
Touche.
And hopefully that's still good enough.
What was the line of questioning from? You guys were still looking for if the dragon was ahead?
I think Ezra. The last thing Ezra had been asking was if the creature had any more specific knowledge about where the dragon might. Ezra, apologize if that's wrong.
Oh, that's right.
Recently taken the peak, and among that the hold that I have made my home. And it's going to take the gem in its mouth and swallow it.
I think Burke is going to come around the corner now with Victor because it sounds relatively safe. Slowly, hands up, calmly as possible.
Would you be, if we could remove the dragon from your hold? Imagine be pleased by that.
It would be better. Would it be mine again? Why are you removing it?
The there's a human settlement not too far away that is uneasy with a dragon being so close. They've asked us to see if we can get rid of it.
And spread like a plague, you always pretend everything is yours. Less and less room for the wild things.
The humans have no interest in the peak itself. They merely don't want the dragon too close.
It is a threat to us all. You can follow this path, and you will find yourselves entering into the clearing from which the hold defends the peak. Not find the dragon defenseless.
No, imagine not. Does it have are you speaking of the dragon itself, or are there other things we must be wary of?
Like, reaches out a claw and kind of just like cuts just like a millimeter of your flesh as it just like draws the claw backwards. Your thin skin will always be weak to this place. But besides the ice, perhaps there is little other than the dragon itself.
So Jason will do his best not to flinch when the creature cuts a tiny bit of him. He'll nod in thanks at the information. Sorry, Burke, didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you didn't. Burke, I think Burke was going to ask, going to walk up and stand next to Justin and ask if this noble creature is going to fight with us to regain his hold.
Perhaps I'll be close enough to kill the dragon when you have nearly defeated it.
Great.
I don't think you will assume. I don't think you will see me anywhere near its home while it breathes.
Well, I'm glad you'll be watching because we don't have wings. So can't move as quickly maybe as you can.
So, I think the Manticore can show you all the kind of like quickest paths through the rock formations as the peak starts to level out and you get closer and closer to the actual peak where this castle, this hold, is on the peak. And it can give you bits of information, like which ways to kind of approach from to get closest there. It can show you a place where you guys can like basically huddle into a like small overhang cave-like spot to actually weather the night. And more or less put you all in a position that you can spot out and spy out the dragon's movements the next day.
Awesome.
Do you have any other like initial thoughts in the presence of the Manticore?
I suppose I'd ask the Manticore if he had any ideas about where the dragon might be weak. Probably been thinking about how to defeat this dragon for some time.
Or able to bite down on its throat and tear it out of its neck, it will die.
And is there a particular place within the hold you think it might prefer? We've or dragons prefer this particular dragon may prefer sandier soil that helps.
I think you'll find if it prefers sand, it's left wanting.
What kind of a structure is your hold? A cave or is it a building? Tunnel?
Stone building, I believe, left from the humans that once occupied this land many of your lives ago.
All right. We'll get it back for you.
You wouldn't happen to know what kind of dragon it is? Because I'm starting to think we have the wrong idea about it.
Look around you. This is its environment.
So it probably likes the cold and ice. Yeah. And not sand.
Indeed.
An ice dragon.
Most probably.
All right. Well, so we're waiting out the night in a hidden spot. Do we have any way to contact our bugbear friends?
I think the idea was to sort of get into position for the night, and then have them get into their position, and then day comes, all converge on it.
Yeah, initially this was like a scouting mission to scout.
I
So
guess
maybe
we'll-
we should hunker down here for the night and keep watch, see if we learn anything else.
maybe in the dawn we'll be able to see this building. It's probably visible right at the top of the peak, I think.
So, if you all basically put in for the night, resting for the evening in the cave that the Manticore shows for you all, you are able to weather the rest of the evening. Let me have everybody make a Constitution save. So everybody's good there. So Justin, you can get yours back. You all will effectively take another long rest there.
Okay.
Upon waking the next day, you all are presented with the view up into this position. where you can kind of see from a little clearing where you're at the actual path up along the side of the mountain that starts to climb to the actual hold itself.
That's a lot of climbing. Whole view of the walls and rampart.
So I think that's pretty close to effectively what you all can see from where you're at. Where you basically see like the zigzags of the actual path that's ahead of you, and then the actual like peak that seems to be this like jagged combination of ice and stone, stone frozen into ice, and it's at that point maybe 50 or 100 feet above like the point where you're at, but you're otherwise looking into the castle, and for what it's worth, you all have effectively found the proper way into the hold without actually climbing the sheer cliffs. Or at least you found a way.
Are there any signs of the dragon?
Roll a D100 for me. Shortly after you all started moving within the cave and started kind of your day's preparation before you actually left the cave, you will see at some point where the dragon flies off into the sky, and then seems to kind of get lost in the cloud cover.
Well, there's our chance, boys. We can get up there before the dragon gets back.
Hmm.
So if you would like to
So-
start moving forward, let me have you all progress forward like that. Just gonna start huffing it. Do you want to try to go stealthily? Do you guys want to try to... What are you thinking?
Stealthily, please.
Yeah, I think Jason would try to move stealthily.
You want to scout with the rogues and leave everyone else behind in the cave?
Why don't we spread out and I'll just go last because I'm the noisiest one.
So let's have everybody do a stealth.
I'm more stealthy outside in the snow.
All right, so with the lead of Satoris and Justin, you all progress through most of these final approaches. You get a solid idea of the actual keep itself across this massive section of the tallest point of Icefire Peak. And among what kind of comes into view is eventually this large initial portion of the keep that then has a drawbridge drawn across it towards the main keep itself, and that's like on the more eastward side. And it seems to be what starts to be like wound about as the trail itself starts to climb into the position of being level with the keep itself. Do you want to approach the keep? Do you want to scout all the way that you can? What are you thinking there?
I mean, if we haven't seen the dragon returning yet, Jason wants to risk trying to scout into the keep itself, if possible.
Need to find some kind of architecture that'll give us an advantage. This thing gets back. Can't be out in the open. So the path winds around to the keep, and then there's a underneath the bridge that crosses over from one keep to the second keep.
Yeah, pretty much exactly. It seems to wind around this smaller section of like castling, and then from that castle, there's a walkway to the next. There doesn't appear to be anything other than sheer mountain cliff to get up to the rest of the castle.
Well, I think we got to get into that first tower and get out of sight. Think about how we can turn this to our advantage.
Sneak in and lay an ambush for the dragon when it comes back. Try to hide our scent.
So is there a gate on this tower or door?
That's the plan moving forward to that gatehouse. So as you all start to progress forward to that point, kind of arriving at the gatehouse itself, there's going to be a whiteout. It starts to... There's just like a small falling of snow as you all kind of go under the bridge. And it just seems to get like a little bit stronger and stronger until you're at that point of the gate, and you just kind of like vaguely crosses your mind that you can't really see in this snow right now. And within a few moments of kind of making it to that gate, you're actually going to start to hear the whooshing of massive torrents of wind. Just... and you're just in the center of a blizzard.
Need to get inside.
Yeah, and quickly.
Not going to survive this out here. I guess Jason will move to try to get open the gatehouse door if he can. If he can see it.
So, let's see. Roll a... Let me actually have someone else is likely to help you as you go to approach for it and reach for it. It is very clearly frozen as you first pull on it. So who are the two people who would like to try to help? Effectively Justin and one other person right now.
think Bert thinks he's strong. And
Gotcha. So roll a strength check or an athletics rather with Jason. Gotcha. So as you two are able to kind of break the ice away, opening this gate, it doesn't open smoothly. You're able to open it enough that you all think that you can squeeze in and you can start to make your way into the gatehouse itself. Within moments of you all making it in, let me have everybody roll a just a dexterity. Ezra, roll a dexterity check. Or not, my bad, not a dexterity check, a dexterity save, please.
I think they're the same, basically, though.
Touche, yeah, by saying save, it's me covering whether you do have proficiency in dexterity versus not. So, Ezra, as you are trying to make your way through this gate, at the last moment, there is a warm sensation across, like, your back and, like, your neck as you are, like, blasted into the actual wall of this gate, like, as you're, like, hit into the door. The initial feeling is certainly the pressure of being pushed forward, but there's an actual sensation of warmth and fluid. And as you were slammed into the gate, take 5 bludgeoning damage, and immediately you're just going to get the scent of iron, and you're going to recognize that whatever just hit you is covered in blood. And those behind you are very quickly going to notice that an ogre has just been thrown into this actual gate directly behind you and is just dead on the ground. And Ezra is covered in blood, and behind him is the face of a white dragon looking down at the gate. And we are going to end with you all in view of the dragon on the peak and one of the ogres slain at your feet.
oh, that's one of King Grol's ogres.
Yeah, you can probably assume that one of the scouting parties got murdered in the night.
Okay, so were any of us able to make? So just to, there were any of us managed to squeeze through before Ezra? Or was he kind of like the
Oh yeah, everybody else made it in. Yeah, my bad. That was Ezra who was slowest to react. That was essentially initiative without the connotations of me saying everybody roll initiative.
Okay, so the dragon is on the outside or inside? Sorry.
Dragon is outside.
Okay, so
On
we
the
see it
wall.
through like the forced open door.
Yeah, like the dragon is effectively behind you all, where you just were. And at the last moment, it like hucked this ogre at you, like a bowling ball almost.
Got it. Okay.
So we're going to pick up there with a initial battle, perhaps, with the dragon, depending on where you all would like to go forward with this. But you all I assume, are going to initially have the reaction of slamming shut that gate. And within what you are seeing is there seems to be like stables. There's some supports, but you otherwise seem to be in a large room that perhaps was where like the horses were stabled on this peak area. And we'll kind of leave it open to what you all decide to do from here.
All right. Sounds good.
Okie dokie.
So I think that should be revealed for you there now. And then the dragon is effectively just outside.
Is there a
Okay,
roof,
yeah.
or is there not a roof? Like, is it ruins or structure?
Where you're at, you seem to be inside of the structure. We're gonna have like that'll be an actual check to think if it's a solid structure or if this is just a place to be entombed.
It's not a kill box in the front entry. It's a stable that could be a kill box.
Yeah, effectively, you guys don't have enough time to really gather that at present.